Australia is located in the southern hemisphere and is the world's sixth largest country by land area. It is a country in a continent surrounded by the Indian and Pacific Oceans. The country is located southeast of Asia, and its nearest neighbors are Indonesia, East Timor, and Papua New Guinea to the north, and New Zealand to the southeast. The mainland of Australia is bordered by the Timor Sea to the west, the Arafura Sea to the northwest, and the Coral Sea to the northeast. The country is also surrounded by numerous smaller islands, including Tasmania to the south. The geography of Australia is incredibly diverse, with everything from tropical rainforests and sandy deserts to snow-capped mountains and rugged coastline. As of 2021, the estimated population of Australia is approximately 25 million people. The majority of the population is concentrated in urban areas along the eastern and southeastern coasts, with the largest cities being Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide. The population of Australia is diverse and multicultural, with a large number of immigrants from all over the world, including the United Kingdom, Italy, Greece, China, and India. The Indigenous peoples of Australia make up a small but significant part of the population, and their culture and heritage are an important part of the country's cultural heritage. The Indigenous peoples of Australia have a rich spiritual and cultural heritage, and their history and way of life have been deeply shaped by their relationship with the land. Overall, the population of Australia is growing at a steady pace, driven by both natural increase and immigration. Despite its relatively small population, Australia is an economically and socially advanced country, with a high standard of living in a dynamic and diverse economy. Australia has a unique and diverse culture that reflects its history, geography, and the influences of its Indigenous heritage and immigrant populations. The Indigenous culture of Australia is one of the oldest continuous cultures in the world, with a rich spiritual and cultural heritage that is deeply connected to the land. Indigenous cultural practices, such as storytelling, music, and dance, continue to play an important role in Australian society today. The colonial history of Australia has also left a lasting impact on the country's culture, with strong ties to Britain and Europe. Australian culture has also been shaped by waves of immigration from all over the world, including the United Kingdom, Ireland, Italy, Greece, and more recently, Asia. This has led to a diverse and multicultural society, where different cultures coexist and interact in unique and dynamic ways. Australian culture is also known for its love of the outdoors and its strong sporting culture. The country is home to a wide range of sports, including cricket, Australian rules football, rugby, and soccer, and sporting events are an important part of the cultural calendar. Australian art, literature, and music are also an important part of the country's cultural heritage, and the country has produced a number of world-renowned artists, writers, and musicians. The country's film and television industry is also thriving, and Australian films and television programs have gained international recognition. In conclusion, the culture of Australia is diverse, unique, and constantly evolving, reflecting the country's rich history, geography, and the diverse influences of its Indigenous heritage and immigrant populations. Whether you are interested in its art, literature, music, sports, or anything in between, there is something for everyone in the rich and fascinating culture of Australia. Australia, a country located in the southern hemisphere, has a rich history that dates back to the arrival of the first Indigenous peoples thousands of years ago. The Indigenous peoples of Australia, also known as Aborigines, are the world's oldest continuous culture and have a rich spiritual, social, and cultural heritage. They lived in harmony with the land, and their way of life was based on hunting and gathering, as well as trade with neighboring tribes. In 1770, the British navigator Captain James Cook claimed the land for Britain, naming it New South Wales. The following year, the first fleet of British ships arrived and established a penal colony in Sydney Cove, which became the first European settlement in Australia. Over the next century, the colony expanded and attracted free settlers, who established their own farms and businesses. In 1901, the 6 colonies of Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania, joined together to form the Commonwealth of Australia. The new nation was a constitutional monarchy with ties to Britain and a federal system of government. In the 20th century, Australia was involved in both World War I and World War II. During World War I, Australia sent troops to fight on the side of Britain, and over 60,000 Australians lost their lives. In World War II, the country was threatened by Japan and again sent troops to fight, this time in Asia and the Pacific. After the war, Australia experienced a period of great change and growth, known as the economic miracle. The country's economy boomed, and its population grew rapidly, driven by immigration and the baby boom. The country also became involved in international affairs and was a founding member of the United Nations. In recent years, Australia has continued to grow and develop, becoming one of the world's most developed and prosperous countries. It is a multicultural society, with a strong and diverse economy, and is known for its natural beauty and outdoor lifestyle. In conclusion, Australia's history is rich and varied, reflecting its indigenous heritage, its colonial past, and its growth and development into a modern and dynamic nation. Despite its challenges, the country has a bright future, built on a proud and diverse cultural heritage, a strong economy, and a commitment to progress and equality. In addition to its economic and social developments, Australia has also made significant contributions to the arts and sciences. In the arts, Australian writers, painters, and musicians have gained international recognition, and the country has a thriving cultural scene, with numerous museums, galleries, and performance spaces. In the sciences, Australian scientists and researchers have made important contributions to fields such as medicine, physics, and environmental science. One of the most distinctive features of Australia is its unique flora and fauna, which are found nowhere else in the world. The country is home to a diverse range of animals, including kangaroos, koalas, and wallabies, and its ecosystems, from tropical rainforests to arid deserts, are equally diverse. The country's natural beauty and biodiversity are an important part of its cultural heritage and are protected through a system of national parks and reserves. In recent years, Australia has faced significant challenges, including the impact of climate change and the effects of globalization. Despite these challenges, the country remains a strong and prosperous nation, with a high standard of living and a commitment to social and economic progress. In conclusion, the history of Australia is a rich and fascinating story, full of growth and change, challenges and triumphs. It is a story of a country that has come a long way since the arrival of the First Fleet, and it is a story that continues to evolve and shape the world in new and exciting ways. Whether you are an Australian or simply interested in the history of this unique and dynamic country, there is much to learn and discover about the rich and fascinating history of Australia.